Whoo-wee, holy guacamole, man. So I got this 2013 Cadillac XTS here. Check this out, man. It's just like the day of bad brakes, I guess. But she brought it here, said it was vibrating when she was driving, and they've got a bunch of alignments and they can't figure it out. Well, for one, I don't know who did the brakes on this, but I'm pretty sure your brake pad isn't supposed to be falling out of your caliper, laying on your rotor. So we're gonna start there and see if we can't get that situated correctly. And I'm wondering if she's got some bad hubs or something. But first things first, let's get this brake pad out, see what kind of damage it's caused. Oh, dude, that's so grooved. Boy. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to do a full rotor brake job on this bad boy. So I'm gonna get this off and we'll go from there. Ay. But yeah, so I guess we'll do a quick little how-to video on how to change your brakes and rotors on a 2013 Cadillac XTS. So first things first, get it up in the air. I chalk the tires because it's a front wheel drive. So chalk the tires, jack it up, get your tire off. If you're trying to do brakes, you should be able to at least do that part of it, I would suppose. And then yeah, so let's take a gander in here and see what's holding this caliper on. So spaceshipy looking caliper, ain't it? Good God almighty, Cadillac, what are you doing? The caliper and the bracket are all one unit. I have no idea what those little inverted Torxes do, so I'm gonna leave them in. I'm just gonna pull this entire thing as a unit and examine it. So I've never seen anything like this. I think it's about a 19 or 21. I'm thinking of 21. All right, here for the brake pad video. You'll see this rotor is already brand new. I'll show the disassembly. I'm gonna have to cut this in kind of a weird way because I did a new hub, rotor, axle, and everything else. I've already had this caliper off, but to actually start this, I want the caliper mounted on, and we're gonna hammer out these two little pins here. I don't know if you can see them. So one there and one there, and that holds the whole brake pad assembly together in there. So we're gonna try and tap these out, and then we'll pull the brake caliper off, and the brake pads will just stay, and we'll try and fish the new ones in and hammer in the new pins and see what we can do. So I got a little Allen head that I'm going to use to try this first. If this doesn't work, I'll go get a punch. Alright, now that I've got the pins pushed somewhat through, they should be free. Now I'm going to take these bolts off again and then try and disassemble it here off the car. I can't quite wiggle the pins out, but I think part of that has to do with the fact that as you saw originally, Dave tried to do this and missed an entire brake pad with the pins. So let's see what we can find. I think they're getting a little crooked. Okay, so continuing these brakes here, my camera died. I'm not quite sure if I got the removal of the pads themselves, but once you have the pins driven out, you just kind of wiggle them out with your hands is what I did. My new brake pads did not come with this little metal bracket, so I'll clean that up and try and use them. But this is important to note. So if you don't have one of these ratcheting caliper depressor tools, you're gonna need one. I'll put a link in the description on Amazon. They're super cheap, and once you've used one, you'll never use anything again, to be honest. But they essentially just go in here. Oh, I'm having so many camera problems, man. I just don't have enough hands for it. But yeah, you just drop it in like this, and then it ratchets. To depress it. So yeah, you essentially just get it in here up against your pistons, and then it just ratchets, and you can just press them flush, pop your new brake pads in. And so yeah, like I said, I'll put a link to this in the description. We signed up for that Amazon Associates thing, so if you order through that link, we get a small kickback. It's the only way we get paid, so that'd be super cool. But otherwise, I think they actually sell these at like O'Reilly's and auto parts stores now too. So you can pick it up there. I'll also have a link for the brake pads and the rotor if you need them. All right, here we are. So I'm holding the 2 brake pads in with my freaking hand, right? And I'm fishing the first pin through, and I'm gonna tap it through with a hammer and make sure that it goes underneath this clip that sits on top of the rotor here. And yeah, I'm gonna drive this through and see what happens. Okay. Important thing to note, I forgot to record whenever I had to switch this, but as I'm holding the pads, the metal clip that I have on top is upside down, so you need to flip it over if you're looking at that as a reference. I had to pull it apart real quick and flip it, and my camera was dead, and I forgot to record it or update it. So yeah, what you see in the video is upside down for the metal clips, and if you put it in upside down, it will hit the top of your rotor and drag. Lesson learned. All right, so you just make sure you get through the tops of both brake pads, right, and in your clip. So now I'm gonna spin it around and I'll put it back on the rotor. See if we can't drop this guy in here. Hopefully, just slide right in the way. Okay, another thing of note, these caliper bolts are torque to yield bolts, so you're not supposed to reuse them. I couldn't find one at a dealer anywhere near us, so I have to reuse these. I do not recommend this. If you can get your hands on a new pair of bolts, absolutely do it. But what we're going to do is I'm going to clean these up, and I'm just going to put some red Loctite on them, and we're going to torque them down nice and tight. All right, here we go. So I'm just going red Loctite with the caliper bolts. I'll see if I can't find a listing anywhere online where they sell these. They probably have it at like GM Parts Direct or something. Probably not on Amazon, but probably on GM Parts Direct at least. And I'll put a link in the description if I can find them. The next time this gets done, right, these are gonna have to get changed because of what they are, but you can basically reuse them a second time safely with Loctites, my understanding is. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the Loctite on them, we're gonna torque them down nice and tight, and then these brakes are done. I still gotta tighten this axle nut, but you know, if you're just looking at this for brake job, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Put it back together, pump up your brakes, and then go for a test drive. I'm also one last thing to note, I'm gonna dash this all with brake cleaner one last time, just because my greasy hands end up touching the rotor a lot. So once I dash this down and get it clean, then we'll pump up the brakes and go for a test drive.